Monsieur Levesque, as a leading spokesman of the radical wing of the Liberal Party, are you expecting to be defeated on the convention floor today?
Is it true you're asking for control of party finances?
Monsieur Bourassa, as the new MLA for Mercier, what do you think of Mr. Levesque's proposals? Mr. Levesque, how do you respond to those who blame you for the party's defeat?
You think you might be elected party president, Mr. Kierans?
No comment.
Monsieur Levesque, qu'est-ce que vous répondez à ceux qui vous font la faute?
Any comment, Monsieur Lesage?
Pas de commentaire.
Quiet revolution was expensive. Let's put Kierans on the executive committee. We're in a position and we need money.
And the others? Monsieur? Monsieur Lesage?
I repeat, it's essential to put an end to slush funds and to require the treasurer to submit an annual report of income and expenses to the membership. We'll finally know where the campaign funds come from.
Quiet, please. Quiet. S'il vous plaît.
This is not a witch hunt, but we have to set an example.
What the direction is taking, Monsieur Levesque is no longer an asset to the Liberal Party.
Don't let us down, Monsieur Levesque.
You say that Monsieur Lapierre's words have exceeded what passes for his thoughts. Will not straighten out the situation. I demand a retraction.
Under the circumstances, I apologize and I retract my remarks.
The Liberal Party has to change.
You're probably right.
Delicate situation. Well, yes, that's fine, but look, do we have anyone better than Lesage?
I don't know, but we can't do worse. The last campaign was proof. We had every reason to expect re-election, and we were beaten. That's what happens when a leader serves his ego rather than his party. See?
To be fair, Lesage is not the only one to blame. Anyway, personally, I believe more and more that the federal system cannot help Quebec progress. That's where I'm at. There's something I'd like to propose at the fall convention. I've written down a few notes.
Special status.
No, I don't believe in special status.
Well, I firmly believe it's the only possible option.
Perhaps I might read you my notes.
We have more urgent things to deal with, René.
Lesage doesn't listen to anyone. He's sabotaging every advantage of the Liberal Party, and he drinks too much. We have to replace him.
Yeah? With who?
We're just talking, but I know someone who's dying to replace Lesage.
No. No, 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 no.
I'd really like to win this one, Eric.
Now, come on, René. We never lose when we play together, huh? We're friends, remember?
Friends, yeah. Well, Sir Ryan, come and join us.
Un secret que vous ne répéterez pas. Ce soir ici et tout le long de ma route, je me trouvais dans une atmosphère du même genre que celle de la libération. Vive Montréal, vive le Québec. Vive le Québec libre.
There's a limit to flouting the rules of international etiquette.
I guess you're happy? You have the same foolish ideas.
Not really. It's all very easy to talk about liberation if you don't have to stick around. It's up to Quebecers to decide if they want to be free or not. As Quebecers, we provide 25% of the federal budget. This is 3/5 of our painful collective effort. $3 billion every year to Ottawa. All this, and then to be forced to duplicate what Ottawa has already done with our money. First, we become sovereign. Then, we negotiate an association with the rest of Canada. Sovereignty, association. My country is not a country. The central idea I intend to submit at the convention in October can be summed up in 2 words: sovereignty, association. First, we become sovereign. Then we negotiate an economic association with the other provinces. The 2 majorities join forces in a new Canadian Union that shares currency, postal services, defense, customs, national debt, and the status of minorities. We levy our taxes, which wouldn't prevent economic agreements with the rest of Canada. We draw up our laws, and we negotiate on our own behalf with other countries. That's about it. Respecting the democratic process, of course.
Why? I've always believed we could be Quebecers within Canada. Declare myself a separatist from one day to the next is a big move.
I'm not talking about separatism. Besides, the extremists have completely discredited the word. There's no way we will associate with anyone who advocates violence.
Mr. Levesque, I have 3 children to feed. If we take this position at the convention, we'll be chased away like rats.
Personally, I would lean more towards special status.
Status quo, you mean? Go join Gilles as well, if that's what you believe, Mark.
Perhaps you're right, Mr. Levesque. Perhaps the only choice we have is to get out of this damn country. This crazy house, as you call it, and then do what we have to do. Perhaps.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Listen, Mark. We decide today. Stay or leave.
Hey. Mark.
That goes for everybody. You're free to stay or leave. I just want to know who I can count on. Good. So, association with the rest of Canada is an obligatory condition to sovereignty. A sovereign Quebec couldn't survive without common economic institutions with the rest of Canada. That's it. Sorry, Matt. Good evening, Robert.
Hi.
Hi.
René, I'm not sure I can go along with you.
And you waited till the last minute to tell me?
I've thought about it, and it can't work. The disadvantages outweigh the advantages.
I see.
I've thought about it a long time, and I keep coming back to the same conclusion. It's not realistic.
Not realistic for you?
Certainly not if you want to keep the Canadian currency. You can be sovereign and pay your bills in Canadian dollars.
Come on, Robert. I'm talking about means and you tell me about currency. We won't compromise our people's destiny over a technicality. Damn money. We now know we have the capacity ourselves to do what needs to be done. We also know no one else will do it for us. Quebec needs certain powers, a vital minimum: citizenship, immigration, manpower, radio, cinema, television, international relations, social security. Of course, the thought of leaving a home that time has consecrated for us may be scary. But there are key moments in the life of a people when courage and daring become the only acceptable form of caution.
Excuse me? I understand you're going to present your manifesto to the convention? Claude Charon. I write for the student newspaper Quartier Latin?
Yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah, I'm going to present it.
Do you think you have a chance of getting it approved?
I believe in my arguments. If we can break through the barrier of fear, perhaps. Gotta try.
I'd like to interview you.
Now?
Well, some other time, perhaps.
Thank you.
More tea? Yes, please. Shall we continue? Yeah, sure. To be a politician's wife must be a difficult task, especially when you haven't chosen it.
Obviously, one makes sacrifices. We don't spend as much time together as we would like, but I can't deprive him of his most cherished dreams.
Do you have any influence over him?
I have my own opinions, and we talk a lot. We always have. That's what I liked about him when we first met. He really considered me as his intellectual equal, and for a man, it's quite rare.
René Levesque is a turbulent man, to say the least, a man of conviction. Do you ever disagree with your husband? Oh, from a political point of view, of course.
My husband was heavily influenced by John Kennedy, who said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." It's an ideal René and I share.
Well, that's it.
That's it. Yeah, fine.
A sovereign Quebec would exclude itself from mainstream North America and become a ghetto. And the standard of living would drop by 30%.
Sovereignty won't create a ghetto. On the contrary, it will allow us to open up to the rest of America and give us the freedom to associate with Canada. You'll see, Eric. You'll keep working with us, just like now.
If independence happens, all the capital from big corporations like Sun Life, the Royal Bank, and Bell Canada would leave the province.
There's a chasm between us. Eric is a Canadian first. I'm a Quebecer first. That's the way it is.
Absolutely. Monsieur Levesque is free to submit his resolutions to the convention, just as Monsieur Gérard is free to submit his option on special status for Quebec.
Mr. Kierans, can I have your opinion on Monsieur Levesque's proposal?
Mr. Levesque's proposal will be beaten by an overwhelming majority.
Merci, monsieur.
This woman does the press send kids to do a man's job? Let's get this over with.
Never been so nervous in my life, Monsieur Levesque. Even more than when my 3 children were born. Maybe we shouldn't go in.
We should have been nervous before we made our decision, Monsieur Warin. Now it's too late. You're coming? Alors, salut Eric, ça va? Monsieur Lesage?
Québec.
We are Quebecers. That means, first and foremost, that we are attached exclusively to this small corner of the world where we can truly be ourselves. This Quebec, the only place where it's possible for us to feel at home. This is what I'm asking to vote on.
There will not be a secret vote on Monsieur René Levesque's manifesto. Therefore, delegates will vote by a show of hands.
Sons of bitches. They know damn well a show of hands changes the whole vote.
In that case, I withdraw my resolution and will try, from now on, to defend it elsewhere. Monsieur Lesage, please accept my resignation from the Liberal Party.
Good luck, René.
Merci, Paul.
His wife is the epitome of kindness and spontaneity. She is as discreet as he is about their private life. How can one help being unassuming when living in the wake of a man who turns everything in his path upside down? It's Daddy! Did you know you turn everything upside down in your path?
No, I didn't.
It's written, Charlotte.
Oh, yeah.
It's an article on me. I wasn't expecting you until tomorrow. What happened?
I felt like coming home. Nice.
Sit down.
Merci. Louisa, I gave Lesage my resignation.
What?
I quit the Liberal Party.
Why? What were you thinking? I can't believe it. You gotta find a figure now. What are you gonna do alone with no party?
I'm not alone. I have supporters.
Yeah, a bunch of lunatics. That won't put food on the table.
I'm still an MLA.
Independent? What's the use of being an MLA if you have no party?
To serve my constituents. I also have my weekly column to write for the paper, you know. Delicious.
You could have gone on as a minister for Jean Lesage, but no. No, you had to go looking for trouble, as usual. Autonomy, independence.
Louise, Lesage is no longer in power. How's school?
Fine.
No one will follow you on this, René. You're going to ruin everything, and it's going to be your own fault because you had everything you needed to succeed.
It'll be fine.
Hey, Levesque. Levesque, your father wants to separate Quebec from Canada? Boo!
Hey, forget it.
Levesque, FLQ! Levesque, FLQ! Levesque, FLQ!
Our father and his damn politics. It pisses me off.
Levesque, FLQ!
You think you can achieve independence with that?
It's a start.
I'm not going along with you on this, René.
I'm not asking you to.
No, obviously you don't give a damn what I think. You never want what I want. I always step aside for you. You've always been the only one who matters in this couple.
That's not true. I would have liked to make you happy, Louise?
By spending all your time anywhere but with me.
I'm here.
I did love you, René. I loved you so much.
The idea is to merge all the pro-independence groups into one party by Easter.
6 months? Christ, that's fast.
I know. The manifesto and my resignation have made waves. We have to take advantage of the momentum. The people who have written to us and sent us money are obviously sovereignists. Now, we have to reach out to the others. Monsieur Pierre O'Neill will be my press attaché.
For those of you who may not know, I was fired by Mr. Levesque's ex-colleague, Eric Kierans, for my separatist views.
If I understand correctly, we don't have time, we don't have means. Do you have a strategy?
I'm gonna do what I do best. In my humble opinion, that's the most effective tool we have on hand at this moment. Monsieur O'Neill and his Barracuda will do the rest. I'm convinced Quebec will be able to manage alone.
You're crazy, man. They'll eat you alive. But if you want to give the feds hell, I'm with you. Here.
Very generous. An independent Quebec will be as viable as Canada after Confederation.
First of all, you smoke too much. Secondly, I'll keep my Rocky Mountains and my Niagara Falls. I was born in Canada, and I'll remain in Canada.
No nation in the world since the beginning of time has succeeded without being in control.
Depends if Ottawa wants to negotiate with you. I don't see why they would. They never wanted to before.
Gaspé, the sea, my home.
Correct?
You know, Monsieur O'Neill, many things will change in Quebec, but this never will. The Sovereignty Association movement speaks for a Quebec that is fed up with being excluded and rejected by Ottawa each time it tries to assert itself. But a sovereign Quebec could not exist without being fair to its English-speaking minority.
What becomes of the English in Quebec when Quebec no longer has a place in Ottawa?
Monsieur Levesque.
Are you trying to say that you'll preserve all English privileges?
Hospitals, schools.
I will fight as hard for English rights as I do for sovereignty. We don't correct one injustice with another injustice.
Will that be enough to reassure the English minority?
What percentage of the population supports Quebec's sovereignty?
It's too early to say. All I can tell you is that the groundswell is so great, we're overwhelmed. We didn't expect it to surge so fast. On this subject, I'd like to read you a note sent by two of your Anglophone colleagues, Nick of the Mauer and Mark Starowitz. As Anglophone Quebecers, we support your movement. And attached to the note, twice $20.
Levesque, hello. Hello. We met at an m.s.a. meeting at Pompeo.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. René Levesque. Well, we're gonna eat at l'Aquarium. Would you like to join us?
Oh, yes, yes. Okay, correct.
See you later.
All right. I wanted to turn out very happy.
Young lady? Come on.
This seat is for Corinne. Corinne? 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 You want a cigarette?
Sure.
So, where are you from, Corinne?
Alma.
Oh, a girl from Lac Saint-Jean? That's why you're so beautiful. What do you do in life?
Nothing. I teach. I study psychology. I go to films. I read, question. I make a good oyster stew. And I volunteer for the Sovereignist movement.
Yeah, I noticed. Same here. You volunteer for a long time.
Looks like you've just lost your girlfriend.
He may be René Levesque, but he's skinny, ugly, and old. He doesn't stand a chance.
The Liberal Party leadership race confirmed Pierre Trudeau as its new leader. His popularity soared after he became Minister of Justice. Since his election to the leadership of the Liberal Party of Canada after the resignation of the Right Honourable Lester B. Pearson, we have been witnessing a collective infatuation with Mr. Trudeau, the white knight of Canadian unity and renewed federalism. Some have gone as far as describing this phenomenon as Trudeau-mania, but the true electoral test is the one that will put him in power through the votes of Canadians on June 25th.
Did a good job of staging that one.
Held the day after Saint-Jean-Baptiste, Quebecers' national holiday.
Thank you. Would you like to make a contribution to the m.s.a? Would you like to make a contribution?
I hope this doesn't sound foolish, but I have a craving, a fierce yet respectful craving to see you. I've noticed you are a delight to the eyes and a pleasure to listen to. If, in all kindness, you don't find this completely silly, call me, René Levesque.
Of course, we have a lot to gain by merging the independence movements. Us, the RIN, the RN. Just hope we can find a middle ground.
There's no reason for us not to join forces. We all want independence.
Yeah, but we don't share the same views, Monsieur Levesque. Aka and Boko are much more radical than you are.
They'll have to learn to respect the system. We'll become independent democratically or not at all. I'll never compromise on that.
What about the rest of the agenda?
We'll negotiate.
You think you'll be able to?
English rights are privileges that were stolen at gunpoint, and that we should take back at all costs.
Monsieur Bédard.
Monsieur Levesque. Salut, Bourgo. Okay, well, we're all here. Can start.
Monsieur Bourgo, monsieur. Vous dites, les droits anglophones n'arrivent pas une injustice par une autre injustice. Ce que vous appelez des privilèges, ce sont des privilèges. Tous d'accord, on a parlé. On veut tous faire l'indépendance. Excusez-moi ça. On veut tous faire l'indépendance. Fier de vos racines. Fier de la langue.
C'est pas acceptable.
Ce que je veux. Il faut la faire rayonner tout de suite d'abord. En pilant sur la tête des anglophones qu'il va se passer quelque chose d'intéressant. C'est pas une province, pas comme les autres. On n'est pas un mouvement radical, un mouvement modéré. On est avec une association. On la va faire démocratiquement ou pas du tout. On la va faire démocratiquement ou pas du tout. One way or the other. If it doesn't go the way I want, I'm going home.
You can't do that.
I certainly can.
You always threaten to resign every time it doesn't go your way. But now it's impossible.
Watch me. If the m.s.a. becomes an extremist party, I'm out.
What about your platform and all the people who trust you? You can't turn your back on them because of your ego or a personality conflict with Bourgo.
I can't stand him. He talks without thinking. And I don't like how obsessed he is with excluding Anglophones. Nothing in Quebec justifies it. I'm not doing everything I can to ensure the democratic credibility of the m.s.a. just to have it undermined with his grand inflammatory speeches. It'll all play out at the convention. We'll see.
Well, you're optimistic. My guess is you don't have a girlfriend.
The only one I'm interested in is ignoring me.
Poor René, forced to go back home.
I think we're ready.
Monsieur Levesque.
Ah, Monsieur Jacques.
You know I'm going to oppose your resolution on English privileges.
That's what we want. A party that tolerates different views. You call them privileges, I call them sacred rights that no civilized society can repress. Defend your ideas, Monsieur Jacques. I'll defend mine.
Salut, Bourgo.
In a sovereign Quebec, French will be the official language of the state and the workplace. Public schools will be French and welcome immigrants, but an English school board, financed by the state, will remain. In addition, the English minority will be allowed to use their own language when dealing with the public administration.
English rights are not rights, but privileges that were taken by force of arms. Consequently, French unilingualism must apply everywhere, even at school. If we don't want to find ourselves in a bilingual Quebec, we must finance only one school system, that of the state language, French.
My position on this subject is based on 3 principles, which are, in order of importance, simple justice, the self-confidence we must have as a people, and political common sense. Monsieur Jacques' amendment amounts to an admission of inferiority and impotence, and the death of the English-speaking minority in Quebec over time. I don't believe in religious wars or in vengeance, and I will never associate my name with a racist party.
With moderation! Enough! Enough!
sir. Excuse me. Could you please give your name when you speak? Since you're calling me a traitor, it's the least you could do. Paul Rose! Thank you, Monsieur Rose. Now... Traitor! Please. Traitor! Give me a few more seconds. My name is attached to this movement. Passing Monsieur Aquin's amendment would be tantamount to closing the doors of the m.s.a. to thousands of our fellow Quebecers. I will have to reflect on the result of the vote. No, I may choose to go back home.
If your dinner invitation still stands, I accept.
Attention, please. Here is the result of the vote. For, 243. Opposed, 481. Mr. Aquin's resolution has been defeated.
Corinne, I love everything about you. When you speak and when you don't. I love the way you think, your generosity, your intelligence. I love the way you walk. I love you for that constant rage I have to make love to you.
Parti souverainiste, Parti Souveraineté Association, Parti du Peuple Souverain, Mouvement Souveraineté Association, Parti de l'Indépendance du Québec ou Parti québécois?
Parti québécois. Parti souverainiste.
A lot of people favor Parti québécois.
Parti québécois. Do you have to be a member of the party to be considered a Quebecer? Couldn't the Saint-Jean-Baptiste Society find anything better to do than invite Pierre Trudeau to the parade?
It's called provocation.
I hope Bourgault has the good sense to stay home tonight.
Last night's traditional Saint-Jean-Baptiste Day parade in Montreal was disrupted by a series of incidents reaching their climax in front of the main reviewing stand. The dignitaries became the target of attacks by demonstrators. The demonstrators threw bottles and other projectiles, forcing the dignitaries to take cover to protect themselves. Monsieur Pierre Trudeau calmly chose to brave the onslaught and watch the parade to the end, refusing to be intimidated. Radio Canada announces that the day following the Saint-Jean-Baptiste Day riots which swept the city of Montreal, Pierre Trudeau has been elected Prime Minister of Canada. Throughout the election campaign,
He got what he wanted,
promoted renewed
but at
federalism.
what price?
Many saw his determination at last night's parade as a sign of his ability to govern in the face of disruptive forces.
Monsieur le Président, the honorable member for Laurier says he will limit the rights of the English-speaking minority because of their small number. Monsieur le Président, in Germany, they restricted the rights of a certain minority before exterminating them.
Monsieur le Président, I rise on a point of privilege. Honestly, I never thought anyone could stoop that low. Listen, language is a hot issue. Every civilized people discriminates to protect its language and its culture. Except that the integration of immigrants will not be achieved by bashing people over the head and ordering them to speak French. At the same time, Bill 63 is intellectually dishonest and a disastrous abdication, since when all is said and done, what we're telling immigrants is do what you want and send your children to English school if it pleases you. We have the right to ask what pressure has been brought to bear on the Bertrand government by English business and finance.
You just heard the
Mom,
reaction.
why is everybody upset about school?
Because you learn a language best when you're a child. And here we speak French before we speak English.
Yeah, French or English, it's the same thing. We're still forced to go to school.
Moi je suis un idéaliste. Je crois qu'il faudrait que ça bouge. En devenant tout solidaire, on ne sera plus minoritaire. Québécois, nous sommes Québécois. Le Québec saura faire s'il ne se laisse pas faire.
In the next election, will you run in the same riding or another one?
The election is still a long way off.
Would you run in Laurier?
Of course. Why?
The Greeks, Italians, Slavs, when they decided to leave their country, they chose Canada, not Quebec. They'll never vote for independence.
They're my constituents. I've always represented them well.
You were in the Liberal Party, René. It's different now.
They trust me. I trust them. I'll find the arguments to convince them.
And if that doesn't work? If you lose?
I don't know. I'll do something else.
What about us?
Us? It doesn't change anything.
It changes everything. If you're not an M.A., you won't have any reason to come to Quebec City. When we met, you told me you would never leave Louise. I accept that. It's difficult, but at least when you're here, we find time to see each other. If you're beaten, we'll have nothing. No more nights together. No more mornings.
I love you, Corinne.
I'm scared.
I can't leave Louise. Suzanne's too young.
She's 14.
As long as she needs me, when she leaves home.
Yeah. Years still. I don't know. I won't be able to.
Corinne,
Corinne, we still have lots of time. The election is a long way off. Knowing Jean-Jacques Bertrand, he won't call an election before the fall. Hi. Thanks. So what kind of presents should I bring back for you?
Depends. What do they have there?
Wheat, horses, mountains, bears, and lots of Canadians to convince that your father is not a big bad wolf.
You're going to conquer the West? Don't forget my presents. Love you, Dad.
I love you too. Train station, please. Corinne, my love, how much I want you. Dressed, undressed, pressing against me when you feel good and not knowing how good you make me feel too. The prairie is my Corinne, my sweet little Corinne. I'm getting a warm welcome. More and more, they're taking us seriously, and they're beginning to conceive of it. At least, that's my impression. Thank you very much.
Mr. Levesque, if you lose the next election and the Parti Québécois is going nowhere, would you perhaps consider coming to Saskatchewan to form a new political party and become our premier?
We'll see. Thank you. Here.
Thanks.
What do you say?
Thank you.
While you were aware, Robert Bourassa was elected leader of the Liberal Party.
Good for him. He's wanted it for a long time.
It could have been you.
You're dreaming. Never could have been me.
Why not? You're at least as smart as he is.
That's right. Take his side. The day you understand he had everything and just threw it all away. Figured out he was not so smart after all.
What's that supposed to mean?
That everyone has a right to his own opinion. How do you like your present?
I love.
Usually, only tribal chiefs have the right to wear it. But when I told them it was for you, they made an exception. With the Boy Scout at the head of the Liberal Party and the UN losing speed, our chances look better.
Jean-Jacques Bertrand just called an election, April 29th.
What? We're done for.
He was talking about the fall.
Yeah, well, since his heart attack, his wife is afraid he won't be able to hold on. So she wants him to get it over with as soon as possible.
April 29th. That's 5 weeks away.
We'll never have time to get ready.
Neither will Bourassa. Okay, 5 weeks.
Monsieur Levesque?
Yes?
We're not finished.
Jacques, you know as much as I do. Go on without me.
Where are you going?
If we only have 5 weeks, I won't make it on my own.
All right. Okay, then.
Hi, Johnny.
I knew I'd see you again, but not that soon.
The election is in 5 weeks.
I have time to get dressed?
It would be preferable. It's not that warm outside. Johnny, what do you think? Le Parti Québécois, yes. We are Québécois.
Seems to me we already know we're Québécois.
What's a party if not the people who form it?
We don't see him at home. At least we see him on telephone poles.
And on TV.
If you ask me, we'll see more of him after the election.
You think he'll lose?
Put Quebec to work, 100,000 jobs. Vote Liberal. How much will independence cost?
How much? How much? Damn economists. That's all they ever talk about. How much? Keeping Quebec on its knees is in their interest. I'm tired of battling St. James Street.
Thanks for calling me a damn economist.
I'm not talking about you. I mean these small-time accountants who have no vision.
Monsieur Levesque, I'll kick you if you keep moving, please.
I'm sorry. I don't need a suit. It's a useless expense.
Monsieur Andolini is the best tailor in Montreal. He made this one. And believe me, it's far from being a useless expense.
Anyway, by releasing his damn report, Trudeau is helping Bourassa, a man he despises.
Don't worry, that report doesn't hold water. It's full of mistakes.
What kind of mistakes?
The feds claim a deficit of $500 million with Quebec. But in fact, they have a surplus of $519 million.
What?
The report lists expenses for unemployment insurance, but it doesn't include the workers' contributions in the income column. It's like that all the way through. Now, if we look at the calculation of equalization payments...
Oh, no, don't talk to me about equalization. I've never understood it.
Me neither.
Well, you see?
Another thing I don't understand at all, it's your obsession with identity. Stay straight, Mr. Levesque. Who is Quebecer or who's not? What does that mean? Do we lose our identity by speaking another language? No, basta. I could live in Pekin and speak Mandarin, but I would still be Italian. See, Levesque, when we are sure of who we are, we fear nothing.
Yeah, good thinking, Monsieur Andolini. When we're sure of who we are, we fear nothing.
Yeah. Now, beautiful, bello.
I look like a penguin. A banker and a penguin. No, it's not you, it's me. I'm not used to this.
Elegantissimo. He fits you like a glove. Penguin, but a beautiful penguin.
In case of a Parti Québécois victory, all Anglophones would have to take up arms for Quebec would become a banana republic. Because of their taste for authoritarianism and dictatorship, French Canadians are incapable of governing themselves. Bande de Rhodésiens dominateurs! This is absolute nonsense!
Monsieur Levesque, we're in Westmount.
Exactly. It's good to see what's going on in enemy territory.
So maybe we should keep quiet so we don't attract attention?
Don't worry. Nobody here recognizes me. And besides, not a goddamn one of them understands French.
They're not the ones who are going to keep you from winning.
Johnny, if Corinne asks, tell her I'm very confident of being re-elected.
Yeah? Oh, yeah. Monsieur Levesque, it's none of my business, but,
If you're gonna lecture me about my wife, forget it.
No, that's not it. But I think you smoke too much, you don't get enough sleep, and you don't take care of yourself. I mean, I keep in shape, but I have trouble keeping up with you. You're burning the candle at both ends, Monsieur Levesque.
Well, my father died at 48. He wasn't given the proper treatment. His heart gave out. What's the point of taking it easy if I'm gonna die at the same age he did anyway? My heart will kill me, Johnny, and there's nothing you can do about it.
How old are you, Monsieur Levesque?
48, in August, the 24th.
What should our position be towards the Parti Québécois? Is there a serious risk in adopting a tougher position on Quebec separation? Mr. Starnes, I want the RCMP to provide a detailed report on the present state of separatism in Quebec in terms of organization, numbers, strategy, and outside influences.
If you want the RCMP to gather information by illegal means, I can do that. But I must warn you, it's risky. And I'll need very specific orders from you, sir.
Pierre, we can't lose sight of basic rights here, as long as it's not illegal to be a separatist. We can't have them followed or spied upon in the name of the law.
Did you get the results of your polls?
Bah, polls. You can interpret them any way you want. The Parti Québécois is gaining ground throughout the province.
Except in Laurier.
It's really delicious.
I won't be able to go on like this very much longer, René. Makes no sense.
It's nearly over. In a week it'll be finished.
I'm not talking about the election. Every time we part, it's harder and harder. I can't anymore. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to Louise. You'll have to choose, René.
Just 24 hours before the election, 9 Brinks armored trucks filled with securities and escorted by 30 armed policemen left the headquarters of the Royal Trust on Dorchester Boulevard in Montreal for Toronto. The Montreal Star estimated the value of the transferred securities at $150 million.
2 days before the election.
Please, they could say hello.
Well, I can't blame them.
After all you've done for them.
You know, Johnny, when people leave their native country, their home, their families, it's not because things are going well. Most of the time, they leave poverty, war, oppression. They come here wanting peace. So no, I can't blame them for being afraid. I couldn't pick another riding, Johnny. No. I'm attached to Laurier, to them. Even if I could have won in a more favorable riding, it would have felt like a betrayal.
You already won, Monsieur Levesque.
What do you mean?
Look at how calm it is compared to the 1960 election. People can vote in peace. There's no more intimidation, no more stolen ballots, no more phony candidates. We can no longer buy an election like, what is it you used to say, like a pack of cigarettes?
Like a quart of milk.
That's it. And these days are over. Because of you. So, as far as I'm concerned, you've already won.
two parties were under new leadership. Monsieur Robert Bourassa of the Liberal Party and Monsieur René Levesque, founder and leader of the new Parti Québécois. And they hotly contested this campaign against the Ralliement Créditiste and the Union Nationale. And now, the moment of truth. We are declaring Robert Bourassa re-elected in Mercier. On the other hand, despite optimistic predictions, Jacques Parizeau has lost in a Hunsik. Three Parti Québécois candidates have been elected: Monsieur Robert Burns in Maisonneuve, Dr. Camille Laurent in Bourget, and a huge surprise, young Claude Charon in Saint-Jacques. Any minute now, we should get results from Laurier, where PQ leader René Levesque was popular as a Liberal member. Monsieur André Marchand, the Liberal candidate, has just been declared the winner in Laurier. Although he garnered a high percentage of the French-speaking vote in his riding, René Levesque has suffered his first electoral setback since the beginning of his dazzling career. The Parti Québécois must be content with 7 members in the National Assembly. And so, Monsieur Robert Bourassa, leader of the Quebec Liberal Party, has just been elected Premier of Quebec.
That meant nix. Chimilo, I don't ever want to hear that again. We won't solve the problem by denying it or throwing fuel on the fire. Our job is to convince immigrants that independence is for them too.
Still, there were 600,000 people across Quebec who voted for us.
600,000? We have to face the extraordinary combined power of fear, money, and status quo. Those who traditionally controlled Quebecers have managed to achieve the reaction they hoped for from the voters. But I say that 23% of the popular vote makes us the official opposition in public opinion. For the first time in the history of Quebec, democratically elected chauvinists will champion their cause in the National Assembly. Don't you think that this is a defeat that smells like a victory?
M. Bourassa soit le premier à entrer, suivi de ses partisans.
Look like your old Liberal friends.
Come on, she wouldn't do that.
Should I wait for you?
No, it'll be fine. Thanks for everything. Good night, Johnny.
Too bad you quit the Liberal Party. You could be celebrating with us.
You had to have your victory party in my house, with my booze, my best scotch.
Cheers.
Just a minute.
I was wondering if you'd come to Montreal and live with me.
That's all you brought?
Yeah. I already have Alexandre Dumas. With these, I have the basics. Stranded on a desert island, with you and these books, I'd be fine.
Well,
I left Louise everything. The house, the furniture, pots and pans, my pension, everything. We have nothing. You still want me?
it's perfect. We'll start fresh. Thank God I have a job. We'll eat macaroni and you'll give up smoking.
I don't think we have to go that far. Pierre Bilodeau offered me a job at Journal de Montréal, a column, $200 a week.
We're rich. Let's go buy some wine.
Good idea. Corinne.
Yes.
I'm scared. The only acceptable revolution is democratic, must be democratic, and peaceful. That demands more courage than anonymous dynamite.
By resorting to such an extreme act, the separatists are dealing a severe blow to their cause. When criminals treat innocent diplomats in this fashion, it makes one wonder, what are the real motives of those who preach independence by democratic means?
Anyone who confuses the democratic actions of the PQ with the kind of anarchic violence which has escalated into the kidnapping of Mr. Cross is speaking in bad faith. I will not dwell on the despicable acts of those anonymous agents provocateurs, sewer rats who afflict our entire society and attempt to involve us in this crime. But when a man like Minister of External Affairs, Mitchell Sharp, takes hypocritical advantage of the event to spread confusion, it's disgusting. What do you think?
The beginning's good. It's punchy.
But you don't like the end.
Yes, but I think it's stronger when you talk about the PQ and clearly disassociated from the FLQ.
I love you.
So, who won?
Yes.
Laporte's been kidnapped by the Chinese cell. What? Laporte's been kidnapped by the FLQ.
Radio-Canada interrupts its programming to bring you the latest developments in the crisis shaking the country since the kidnapping of James Cross and Pierre Laporte. It has just been learned that Quebec Premier Robert Bourassa has returned from Sorel after receiving a threatening phone call saying he's next on the list. Monsieur Bourassa has called his ministers to an extraordinary meeting at the Queen Elizabeth Hotel. Unprecedented security measures are being taken. This is not the first time measures like this have...
If Bourassa was a real leader, he wouldn't panic. The lives of 2 men are at stake. He has to stay calm. And he has to negotiate with the kidnappers.
You're writing a column.
Be careful.
You too. Hello?
Yeah, Robert Bourassa, please. Tell him René Levesque is calling.
One moment, please.
René, it's Robert. I don't have much time.
I know. I appreciate that. You have to negotiate, Robert.
Things have changed. If we negotiate, we give in to blackmail.
The lives of 2 men are at stake.
They are local kids. They won't kill anyone.
I'm not so sure. They're determined. They're fanatical. I'm afraid of what could happen if we don't take them seriously.
We're doing everything we can. The cops are expanding their search for Laporte, and if they don't succeed, we'll have to look at more radical measures. René?
I'm here. Nothing can justify the death of 2 men, Robert. That's all I wanted to tell you. Thanks. Monsieur Ryan, I have information that worries me. There are rumors in Ottawa that the Prime Minister is considering invoking the War Measures Act.
The War Measures Act.
I'm afraid Pierre and Mr. Cross will be made to pay for it. God knows I wouldn't want that to happen.
Okay.
So, if you agree, here's what we'll say. First, the life of the hostages come first. Second, we have to negotiate their exchange against political prisoners. 3, the FLQ is a marginal group. 4, the crisis must be resolved in Quebec. It's our problem. It's up to us to solve it.
Levesque is deliberately seeking to weaken the government and our institutions. He has lost his sense of values. If I give in as he asks, I might as well resign as Minister of Justice.
There are 2 kidnappings. Only cowards would shy away from doing whatever it takes to defend the country against the rise of a parallel power and to overcome people who are trying to lead this country through kidnapping and blackmail.
How far are you willing to go to restore order?
Well, just watch me.
The day of shame has arrived. Any suspected Quebecer can be arrested on sight and held incommunicado without a chance to see a lawyer, just like in a perfect military dictatorship. It is a flagrant violation of the 3-century-old English writ of habeas corpus, which guarantees a respect of individual liberty.
This arrived at party headquarters. Of course, he doesn't take it seriously.
Kill René Levesque.
Can you keep an eye on him? It makes me nervous.
I understand. But nothing will happen to him. First, I'm there. But mostly, if anything did happen to him one way or another, there'd be a riot.
We had no choice. Tomorrow the victim could be a Caisse Populaire manager, a farmer, a child.
He's gone mad. What will he do if people demonstrate and the army starts shooting? Meanwhile, who's negotiating for the lives of Pierre Laporte and James Cross?
René, call Rougeau. He'll come get you.
Nothing's gonna happen to me.
How can you be sure?
If they attack me, they'll never recover. I'll go to bed. I love you.
We have just received a special bulletin from the office of the Premier, Monsieur m.s.a. Ladies and gentlemen, the FLQ has just announced, and I quote, Monsieur Pierre Laporte, Minister of Unemployment and Assimilation, has been executed. This is the latest communique that we have received at the CBC newsroom. Let's now join our reporters on the scene. It is now official. Monsieur Pierre Laporte has been executed.
It has just been confirmed that the body found in the trunk of a Chevrolet Saint-Hubert, we can now say that the body is that of Pierre Laporte, who was the minister in Robert Bourassa's government, who was kidnapped last Saturday.